All right. We are back with Rett Madison. The song you just heard is Ballet. And on this album, almost every song touches directly on your mother's life and death. But there is this one that doesn't. So why include that on your album?
Yeah, Ballet is a song that I wrote about falling in love with my current partner for the first time. I happened to I happened to begin dating my partner only, I would say, like 2 to 3 months after my mom passed on. So the experience of grieving my mom, but also falling in love for the very first time, two life changing experiences um, happened to be happening simultaneously. So that's why ballet is on the record because it's um, it's very much and was happening at the same time that I was processing losing my mom. And also, my partner played a massive role, I think, in helping me work through that grief and also healing me in a lot of ways, just with their love. So, yeah, I felt like it made sense for the record.
Yeah. Well, what are some of the ways you felt healed?
What are some of the ways? Great question. I mean, I feel like just being able, I feel like I'm still even almost 5 years after losing my mom. There's always going to be, um, I feel like parts of grief that I'm continuing to work through and sort through, and it's always present in my life. But I feel like I've been able to do a lot of healing just by cultivating and building a life with my partner and my little dog that I feel safe and comfortable in. And yeah, just trying to I do a lot of therapy. I try to lean into my community and let people know how I'm feeling when I'm feeling it. And I think that's brought me a lot of peace, just being able to speak about my feelings pretty candidly with the people that I love. And yeah, try to just create a safe and stable life for myself to continue to do that work and go through that grief.
Yeah. One of the parts of the album that I think made me the most sad was mentions of feeling guilt over this whole situation. Um, you were young to say the least when a lot of your mother's pain was being felt, or not even born yet. Um, are you able to sort of tell yourself, hey, look, this wasn't me?
Yeah, I think by doing a lot of that work in therapy and just having some time and honestly, I think a large part of what released me from a lot of guilt about my mother passing from suicide, which obviously I would say to anyone who's lost a loved one that way, it isn't your fault. I think a lot of us, we're left with often no closure or really no answers. That the thing we do in the immediate moment is a lot of the time turn that blame inwards and go, it must be my fault when it's not. Or unfortunately, if you're in a community or in a dynamic that is looking for someone to blame, I felt like I took a lot of like a scapegoat role for some people that knew my mom, which is also really unhealthy and unfortunate of them to do to somebody's child. But yeah, through a lot of therapy, I was able to learn that my mom's passing wasn't my fault, and also unearthing that information that she was in fact a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. And I unearthed that about a year after she passed. That released a lot of guilt from my shoulders because I finally realized that a lot of my mother's pain and struggles and trauma here on earth, like you had said, began much earlier than my arrival as her daughter. And I feel like that released me from a lot of blaming myself. Honestly, was finding that information out. It and obviously it was painful to learn that my mom had been through that, but it was also having that information freed me in a lot of ways.
That is an extremely powerful dichotomy right there. Do you feel like you found some sense of closure now?
I think in some ways, I feel like I've almost had to, I don't know if I'll ever have like 100% full closure on losing my mom this way, but I think I've been able to come to a place where I can live with it and carry on, with the rest of my life, hopefully without regret. Yeah, I know that's not a best answer, but um,
I'm not
yeah,
looking for a best answer. I'm looking for the answer.
yeah,
Thank you for having this conversation with me.
of
And
course.
thank you for sharing your pain so publicly, because even if people can relate to only some elements of the album, man, it can really help.
Yeah, yeah. That's the whole hope with this record is, obviously I don't want people to have gone through these similar experiences, but if they already have and they're looking for music that reflects those experiences back, I hope this album can be a work that can help people feel, some kind of cathartic release when they listen to it.
Rett Madison, thanks so much. The new album is One for Jackie.
Thank you so much for having me.